Welcome, Åsa Bernstein from all the way from Sweden. You stayed up till midnight to hang out with us today, and thank you so much. You've been a massive inspiration to so many women in our community. As a grandma at 53 in menopause, you've just absolutely smashed this process of fat loss and strength gain, and people look at you and go, "Wow, I want what she's having." So, thank you for coming on. Yeah, tell us a little bit about your background. I'm super eager to know. Back in 2020, what made you want this? Did you see you were going to be someone people would look up to and go, I want a piece of that, or did you just go, I'm going to start, and you got addicted to the process?
Oh, I think I realized that I was at my weight when I was pregnant. And I mean, it didn't happen overnight, but it slowly, you've frozen now, Marty? No?
Oh, I'm still here, but
Sorry. I'm just, uh, yeah, it didn't happen overnight, but over a few months or a year or something. And then I thought that, what's this happening to me? Uh, I've always been a kind of slim person, a very slim as a child. So, I mean, the weight just kept creeping up on me, and I didn't realize what was happening before I was almost 80 kilos.
yep.
So then I thought, I looked at other people that trained a lot, and I wondered how can they be so fit? What they do? I mean, it was kind of a mystery for me actually, because I didn't understand what you needed to do. Because I thought I was going to the gym, and doing the classes, and that was enough. But I didn't know how hard you actually had to train to be able to tone your body, so to
Mm,
speak, muscle. But then I had a lot of fat on me as well,
mm.
so I needed to figure out a way to get rid of it. Actually,
Was there a moment that you said, enough is enough? I'm going to really put everything into this and go all out?
yeah, it wasn't a moment, but I realized I had to take naps at work after dinner, and I felt sluggish.
Mm.
I didn't have a healthy diet. It was too much fat and carbs at the same time. It was pizza and wine.
Yeah.
Not a lot of candy and stuff like that. But
Mm.
I had, as I said, I had been vegetarian for 5 years
Yep.
prior when I
Mm.
started to realize that something needs to be done.
You shared a
And then
photo of your vegetarian era of your body composition, and yeah,
crazy.
you've got heaps of photos of your journey, which is fascinating that you sent me. It's like you're not shy, which is very helpful and inspiring.
I'm pretty pragmatic. You have to, if we're talking about something, we need to know what we're talking about. So this is what it looks like, you
You,
know?
you're really good at facing up to the truth and saying, "This is where I'm at. This
Yeah.
is where I want to move on from."
I'm just
Um,
wondering why I didn't see it sooner. That's
yeah.
the part that I can't understand. Why didn't I see it creep up? I mean, it's strange, but I think you can cover a lot with clothes.
Yeah.
And when I show these pictures to work colleagues, and they have seen some of them, they didn't know that I looked like that because I had skinny legs, but
Yeah.
a bigger, on
Belly.
top. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I did my first blood analysis. I usually do them twice a year, and then I had blood fasting glucose of 6 millimoles.
Yep. Getting
Just
up there.
yeah, it's getting up there, and it might be a one-time thing, just but it
Mm.
made me realize that what's this?
Yeah.
I needed to do something.
You thought you were okay, and then you went, maybe I'm not.
I
I need
was
to.
I mean, I didn't look different from anybody else. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not, yeah, people look like this.
So you tried vegetarian, keto, and carnivore and fasting. What did you find were the benefits of each? Did you have like you look at the vegetarian phase and it doesn't look great, but was there any? did that help from the pizza and wine?
I think in the beginning, when you remove and you go from something to something else, you get some result.
Yeah.
And it felt good. It felt very clean, I
Yep.
think. And it was I mean, the animals,
Mm.
think it's a good thing to do. And the climate, I
Yep.
mean, yeah, don't eat meat.
That's the
But
message a lot of us are told, but
yes,
it
of
doesn't
course,
necessarily lead to healthy body
no,
composition.
no.
Mm.
And then I think I think year 4 or something, I started noticing when my iron levels dropped
Yeah.
too much. That was the thing, and that's still not now, but a couple of years ago. Still, I had problems with that. Ferritin levels too low.
Yeah. A lot of people find
So
that they feel really good for a little while, and then
yeah,
the nutrient
it takes
deficiencies catch up with them, and the low iron and low, B12 and omega-3, and
everything.
yeah, it's
And I
really
mean,
cool to see how you've dialed in your macros and micros. You actually started with you did one of our very, very, very early data-driven fasting challenges, which I only just realized. And yeah, you're in keto fasting space and did that with the spreadsheet way back in the day before we had the app, which is cool. And now you've done glucose signals, macros, and micros, which I'd love to talk about what you learned from each phase of that.
well, I think that the DDF. Sorry, I'm keep calling it that, but
Now glucose
yes,
signals.
yes, I think it's such an amazing tool. It makes so much sense not to eat if you have energy already.
Mm,
But yeah, I wish more people could understand that. But when
mm.
you talk about pricking your finger when you don't have diabetes, people think you're crazy.
We've still
And
had thousands and thousands of people do it though, so
yeah,
and with
yeah,
great
I
results.
know.
So
Yes, it's amazing. I think that's the one course that I like the most. I think
really.
because I like the gamification of it. You can't eat before you trigger. I love that.
You love games and numbers and dialing it
Yes,
in.
I like
And then everybody was asking about your macros. I've got a shot of your macros
yes,
from your perfect day. I love like you were I think you're burning about 2,500 calories, so we didn't drop your calories down more than it was 1923. So in the perfect day, I kept it the same, but we in this macros course, we bumped up the protein to a really high level, to
yeah,
50%, which is my upper limit. But yeah, you're doing 238-ish grams of protein, eating a lot of energy, and I just love seeing older women eating a lot because they're getting protein, they're getting nutrients, they're obviously really active, and like I think the secret to eating more and getting a calorie intake up is just being amazingly active. Did you want to talk about A, protein, and B, like the activity levels that enable you to eat a whole lot more and get all that protein and nutrients in?
yeah. I guess it hasn't always been like that. I mean, it was a constant battle between not eating too much and still losing weight and
Mm,
fat, and I didn't have muscle,
mm,
and I couldn't really push myself as I can do today in
mm.
the workouts. So it's a process, I think, and I mean I'm maintaining now at 2,300 or something. I think 400 maybe,
That's great.
and also I think I mean you have to be having an energy output
Mm,
to eat more, but
mm,
it's always better to eat more and train more than
mm.
scaling down all the
Yeah,
time,
because I see a lot of
smaller and
particularly
smaller.
older women getting down to
Yeah,
1,100, 1,900 calories, and it's like you're just not able to get enough nutrients, and the body will
no,
rebel and say, "I can't stay like this. I can't stay inactive, cold, and your
yeah,
body won't let you stay there. So please." get active so you can eat more and get more nutrients because your body is craving those nutrients.
And then I think the walking is a key component
Mm,
in that because you can walk a lot and burn some fat, but it
mm,
doesn't make you hungrier.
mm.
So it's a great tool actually, I think. Always be walking or
And,
standing.
and yeah, I'm at a standing desk now and I do a little bit of walking, but not as much as you who are doing 15,000 steps every day.
Yes.
You set that goal and say, I'm going to get 15,000 every day. And how long have you maintained that for?
I'm over 15,000, I think, since 2021.
Wow.
But sometimes I mean, it depends. If I have a rest day, it's lower, of course.
Mm,
But
mm.
on the average, it is high.
Well, and you track that on your Fitbit, or how do you track that?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's cool. And then you did micros, and
Mm.
we did this cool. I I fed Orsa's diet into ChatGPT, and this was like the simple list of foods that she eats in Sweden. It was cool to just see it, and yeah, so we take her weekly diet and say, hey, what's the short list of foods that works for her, and this is what it looked like, and it's going to look different for everybody wherever they are, but then you got all these amazing, vibrant meals that this is what real food that's nutritious looks like. And it was cool to see you as basically a CrossFit athlete going, I've done glucose signals, I've done macros and got my protein up, and now I want to maximize my energy output and vitality through dialing in your micronutrients. So this is how your plate's transformed. I think you said lots of animals in this one, and you like a few sardines with the lemon. And how did you find the micros aspect as well? It sort of rounded out your diet.
Um, I guess that's the gamification thing about that as well. I like.
Yeah.
I'm looking more in chronometer, the percentage that you get.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yeah, you can
Is
use
this?
that on Nutrient Optimizer, but yeah, you're trying to get up your
But
diet quality score.
yeah, it's hard enough. I think with the calories that I eat to get high there
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the 85% or 90%.
which is
It's
fantastic.
really hard. It's
Yeah,
really hard.
yeah,
And I sometimes I can't I don't want to eat stuff just because it's good, it fits the body. I don't want to
yeah.
have muscles, and so some things I do eat because of the micronutrients like liver and
Mm,
sardines, and I eat a lot of cucumbers
mm,
for potassium and water.
mm,
But it's I do supplement some. I
mm,
do,
mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
just to be sure.
And I suppose to add to that point, if you're active and consuming a lot of energy, you automatically are able to get more nutrients. But if you're not as active and you're trying to lose weight, then you really need to dial up the diet quality score to make sure you can
Yes.
get all the nutrients in a smaller amount of energy. So, I mean, for you who's burning 2,500 calories a day, getting up to 100 is sort of unreasonable. But for people who are a lot less active and don't want to be CrossFit.
CrossFit athlete eats 2,500 calories a day. Fine.
Hello.
Well, looks pretty darn good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll just
Kathy
turn.
Whiteman.
Kathy, can you just turn
Oops.
your mic off?
She did.
Cool. Okay.
Yes. I don't know how you can. I mean, if you go down to 1700, still, it's how do you get the micros in? I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Y-
And then
Yeah.
1200. I mean, that's what a toddler eats, or that's it's not reasonable for a human, a grown woman to eat that little.
Yeah. You have to work a lot harder to pack in your micronutrients if
Yeah.
you're less active. Yeah. So that's really important. In terms of carbs, you've got an interesting image that shows your different phases of resting heart rate, and then you jumped into a DDF with more carbs, interestingly. So
Yes.
how did you find going? You went from keto to carnivore to jumping into glucose
Mhm.
signals and with CrossFit and you added more carbs. What was that transition and why, and how did that impact your workouts?
I must say that I love carnivore for what it does to my mind and my body and my self-talk, I think. I'm not always thinking about food, and
Yep.
that could be a bad thing because you don't get really hungry, so you can eat a lot less, and that's not necessarily good.
Mm,
But I started when I did carnivore in 2022. I loved it, but because I think I was under proteinated. I mean, I just
mm,
flooded my body with protein and fat, and cholesterol, and it was great, and I
mm,
got good results. But then I tried it again uh, in to just before the November DDF there, and it didn't work like it used to, and I didn't have energy in the gym, and I don't know what it was, but I was extremely stressed. I
wow.
think I didn't feel it like when I saw it on that graph that you showed. But what happened was when carbs, I mean, it lowers cortisol and stress
Mm,
response
mm.
and makes you calmer. If it's not straight sugar, of course, then you get speed. But
It's like speed.
I think my body didn't want to have that kind of diet
Mm. Yeah, I
with
think
that
that's how it
more
works a lot of the
habit.
time. When people go to carnivore, they get the protein they were missing, and it's like, oh, this is
Mm,
amazing. But
yeah.
then there's other nutrients, like you were saying with vegetarian, there's certain nutrients that aren't as abundant on a carnivore diet. And then if you're working out like a maniac, a bit of
Mhm.
carbs, and Mike's nodding his head that if you're working out like a maniac, then you need some carbohydrate for that explosive activity, or at least you do better with
Yes,
that. We've got some
absolutely.
amazing transition photos of like you came to us in
Yes.
November doing DDF and then did DDF in January and then macros and then micros. Tell us about the transformation of your body as you just kept on leaning out. We kept on fine tuning macros to really get diced. What's that process like? It's not easy, is it?
I believe I had pretty high calories all the way, 1900 or something,
Yep.
or around that. And that's I mean, that's enough to not be hungry,
Mm,
especially with that kind of amount of protein.
mm,
So, well, my problem mostly is fiber. I
mm,
can't tolerate a lot of fiber.
mm,
So that's the main thing. So I can't bulk up the meals with a lot of salads and starchy or fibrous vegetables. But I think we had such a small deficit for so
mm,
long time, 15
mm.
weeks or something total, that if you don't take pictures, you don't, and
Yeah.
just look at the scale, you will not continue to on that journey.
Mm.
You have to take pictures. Otherwise, I mean, I lost a kilo or something. That's nothing.
But you can see it in the photos in your body composition of that
Yeah.
kilos coming from your belly and you can see exactly and that was where you were struggling with before and that really high protein with moderated calories really seems to help. But you couldn't drop it any lower just because you were so active. And you
Mhm.
got your in-body
Yeah.
scale getting down to 64 kilos. And you said, hey, my muscles going up, my body's fat is coming down. I think you got down to 14% at one point.
Yes, it was in 2023,
Yep.
I think I did. But that I couldn't sustain that, of course, and I
Yeah.
didn't really want to either. But I think 18% maybe be good for me to
Mm,
maintain.
yeah. You think you can
But I think
maintain 18 easily?
Yeah, I think the pictures that you just showed, I think it's kind of obvious in the first picture there. I have fat on me there, but I think also the stress, the cortisol, the water weight on that
Mm.
picture is kind of obvious
Bring it back up.
because I was so stressed. The body wasn't calm or something.
And that was sort of coming out of a carnivore
Yeah,
phase where you were
carnivore,
stressed.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
So giving your body a little bit of carbs enable you to release the cortisol
I
and
think so.
drop down. Cool. Mike said I'm interested to know what us Orsa's workout split is. Also, any dedicated cardio sessions in addition to the 15,000 steps a day. You do a lot of CrossFit, is that right?
Yes, it's not really it's CrossFit like, it's Metcons or
Yep.
high intensity with weights. Uh, but my split now, I don't really have a split. That's my biggest problem at the moment, actually, because I'm more into Olympic lifting and learning the techniques for snatch.
Mm,
It's not heavy right now. So
mm,
I have 1 or 2 sessions a week with my personal trainer to work on snatch technique and cleans. And then I have maybe one high intensity 45 minutes session. And the rest is it's dumbbells and kettlebells,
yeah.
not so heavy because, well, I think one thing that I don't regret it, but I have been training 6 days a week for some years now,
Yep.
and if I would do it again, I might do a little less and focus more on recovery. I think I would
Mm,
have gained more muscle by doing that,
really?
actually.
With better recovery.
Yes, but I couldn't lose. I think I had no time to lose. I had to just, keep going and not have days off because
Mm,
then what if I didn't go there again, I lost
yeah.
track or something.
Yeah.
So that was a big part of it, actually.
Very passionate and dedicated. I
Yeah,
think you said you started with a lot of walking, and if you had your
yes.
time over, you would have maybe started the strength training early. Did you want to talk about the importance of strength training in the not just weight loss, but body recomposition journey?
Yes, it's so important.
Mm,
It's the most important thing. I didn't do any cardio by running or anything like that the first 3 years, I think. So nothing to raise cortisol or stress me out. I just
mm,
built uh, as much as I could with the technique that I had.
mm,
Yeah, if I would do it again, I mean, I understand it's uncomfortable to go to the gym if you're overweight.
mm,
And I mean, all the people I see that do that, I mean, congratulations. It's the best decision they
mm.
made. Um, but if you don't know your way around in the gym, and you're fat and overweight, I mean, you
Right.
could do. I mean, hire a trainer
Yep.
to show you around so you get more comfortable. I think
Mm,
that's worth every penny,
mm.
actually.
Yeah, and then the importance of once you build muscle, you've got a higher metabolic rate. You're actually burning more. So just cutting and cutting and cutting your calories down lower and lower without the activity and without the
No,
muscle just means you're just depleting everything, including your muscle. But if you can increase your
yes.
engine, the size of your muscle mass, then you're actually it's much easier. You don't have to cut the energy level quite that low.
That's actually something that I regret, that I didn't eat more and eat more carbs, but I didn't dare to do that because I was just so focused on not eating carbs, not gaining fat, not gaining water weight,
Yeah,
and
right.
but if I had, I could have pushed harder. I
Mm,
think
mm. That's
actually.
interesting. There's a
Mm.
question from Bev in the group about how do you work your nutrition around your training program? How much food before and after? It probably depend on what you're doing and how heavy you're lifting, etc., etc. So, did you want to How do you think about you try to generally have a meal before, especially if you're doing really intense workout, maybe a bit more carbs in that meal?
Yes, I've tried different things. Have the carbs at lunch, have them at lunch and after dinner, after workout, or just carb backloading after workout and different things. I've also had meals where I ate all my carbs at breakfast,
Mm,
and that works really well for energy
really?
throughout the day.
If you're
Really
doing a
good.
lot of activity and you're already lean, a lot of the time we see the opposite thing in glucose signals that people start with high glucose if they've got dawn phenomenon. But
Mm,
if you're lean and active and need a lot of energy during the day and you're not trying to drain that carbohydrate, it flips.
yes, it's strange. You get a lot of energy. I mean, if I eat dinner for breakfast, so to speak,
Mm,
then I can maintain all throughout the day, and I
mm,
almost not hungry at lunch even,
yeah.
and then I can work out heavy in the afternoon as well. So it's the other way around.
Mm,
But then it depends on what I'm doing. If I have a deadlift day, I eat
mm,
a large dinner in the night before,
mm,
always. And then I top it off the day after. And sometimes I eat, like I said, there dates or sugar
yeah.
10 minutes into the workout or something.
Because the deadlift can really drain the glucose because it's so glycolytic and you need that
It can,
power.
yeah,
Yeah.
depends. But who knows? I mean, I could probably do it by will sometimes as well. I
Yeah.
can,
But it's good to give your body the fuel. Interesting to
yeah,
see you got a photo here of your resting heart rate coming down since you joined glucose signals and then macros and micros and heart rate variability came up while you were getting more and more diced, which was super cool. And you can see that,
yes,
as you said, you probably didn't lose a lot of kilos between these two photos, but
no,
the difference due to the water weight and cortisol is massively
yes,
different.
yes.
Um, Well, I'm excited to hear, Laurie asked, I'm excited to hear about your nutrition journey and how to make more gains. You look super fit and strong. I love it. But I'm a bit afraid of building muscle. It just feels so much harder for me now. Can you talk about for older women the issue of building muscle and how you approach it versus if you were younger?
I think I didn't know how hard you have to lift to build muscle. I didn't
It,
know.
it doesn't happen
Uh,
accidentally. You don't suddenly wake up and
it
go,
does
I've got
not.
urge, I got
Oh,
urge,
so say
especially
that
as an
again,
older
please.
female.
No, no, say that again, please.
I didn't know how hard I had to work out to gain muscle. It's a tough job. I mean, it
Right.
doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's
You've got to lift heavy
yes,
intentionally, progressive overload, and yeah, you definitely start small, but you have to build
yeah,
up and get heavy to
yeah.
the point that you keep on making your muscle grow, and that doesn't happen by accident.
No, it doesn't.
Um,
But yeah, I think. Do you want to talk about HRT or something like
yeah,
that?
if you want to mention the role of the hormonal
Yeah,
journey, a lot of people have found it very useful.
yes, I think that if I mean estrogen is the is it's a building hormone.
Mm,
It builds fetuses and builds cancer and builds muscle mass and you know. So it's if you're low on it, it's more difficult, of course.
mm,
And then how it how it regulates insulin. And if you're low on estrogen, you get more belly fat.
mm,
So I mean, I don't say that you have to do it, but for me, I started it in after I did carnivore, and it's probably I don't know if that was it, but I started estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone therapy
mm.
then. And after that, it took about 1.5 years before I started seeing that, wow, I'm really building muscle now. I
Yeah,
didn't
wow.
see it like, I mean, I lost the fat, so I
Mm,
saw my muscle that I had then.
mm,
I wasn't building anything, I think. I was just maintaining.
Yeah. But it still
So
took
if
you 18 months. It wasn't like it was an instant fix that you'd go on
no,
the
it took
hormone
time. Yes,
replacement therapy.
it took time. Yes, yes.
Yeah. And it's really interesting that menopause transition is a real challenge, massive challenge, and it's a real thing. Because, like you say, the estrogen drops, the testosterone drops, and then your body goes, I'm losing muscle. I need to eat more to get the protein I need, to get the nutrients I need, because I'm losing muscle. This is an emergency. It's just protein leverage, protein percentage. We end up eating, well, not me, but women end up eating more energy to get that protein and
Yes,
end up gaining fat. So,
yes,
what we
yes,
do in 2020 macros and all our courses, dial up the protein percentage so you can get that protein without the excess energy. It's the same process for everybody, but at the menopause transition, it becomes critical. Sorry, I'll let you talk now.
no, it's absolutely right. And the if you forget the protein, then you're in bad. It's bad news for
Mm,
you. But I think also it's not always about the percentage; it's about the grams,
mm,
the actual grams. I mean, 80 grams of protein. It's too low. I mean, 100 grams.
yeah,
I think you have to up it a lot. I
yeah.
think there's no upper limit.
And
Maybe
and what are you up to now?
I'm over 200,
Yeah.
240. It depends. Sometimes it's 190 or under 200, but I do a big lunch, a big dinner, and then I also take protein shakes, of course,
Mm,
because
mm,
it's convenient. But that's a great hack, I think, if you
mm,
have a protein shake to every meal,
mm.
three times a day.
Yeah, wow.
It's a good thing, I
Yeah.
think.
And sort of part of the magic of eating more protein is damaging your muscles and doing what you're doing in the gym to make your body crave that protein. Because if you're not actually doing the work, you're going to go, I don't need protein. I haven't actually done the work that needs the recovery with the protein to help you grow. So if you're actually working out, lifting heavy, you're going to crave that protein.
Yeah, I love protein. I can eat it. I mean, I can't
Especially
understand people that, oh, it's so much, I can't eat it. I mean, what's,
me.
I don't understand,
Meanwhile,
actually.
Mike, who's on the call as a type 1 diabetic, is doing about 400
Yeah.
grams. Victoria had a question about can a senior woman do heavy weights from home? What equipment helps a beginner? That's a really interesting question. Do they need to go to the gym and learn powerlifting, or can they do home things to start out at least? What would you recommend?
Well, I think it's about progressive overload. If you don't do anything today, everything is progressive overload
Mm,
from the beginning, body weight even. But then eventually you have to up the weights, I think, to be able to build muscle.
mm,
So if you don't have a home gym, it's more difficult. You just have to find ways to increase the resistance
mm.
from
And start
home.
small and just keep getting bigger and bigger. Did you get addicted to the I'm getting stronger, I'm getting these weights getting
Yes,
heavier? This is really fun.
yes,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I started with the Strongless 5x5 app, and it just guides you
Mhm.
to keep coming back and getting a little bit stronger every time. And I love this. And I'm still doing a very basic full body dead bench overhead press sort of workout squat. But because I've been doing it for 6 years, the weights are getting pretty heavy. But
But sometimes you can't raise the weights.
mm,
I mean, it won't go linear, so
mm.
it's depressing.
But you keep on coming back 6 days a week to keep it going up. Yeah, and that progressive overload is built into all our programs of like start where you are and make it a little bit harder, which is the magic to making it sustainable. I had a question from Belinda about definitely excited to see your interview. My question is, at what point when you were
Yeah.
losing, you start strength training? And I think you said not early enough.
Yes, not early enough. But I had to lose the fat first. Somehow I just that was the only thing. I didn't know about the training world, I think.
I didn't hear nothing you said. What?
Sorry?
Wait up. Can you just turn off the mic?
No, it's if you don't know,
I know.
Sorry. Turn GD off.
yeah. But yeah, strength train, do what you can, hire a coach if you're uncertain, if you can afford it. But I mean, there's a lot of programs online that you can use. Yeah. I mean, strength training is very important. And there's a lot of other things that's important when you grow older, the grip strength and, jumping, plyometrics. That sort of stuff is also very good to just lay on the floor and get up, depending on your starting point. Like my mother, for instance, to do squat from the sofa. You can do many things from home.
Yeah. And you mentioned kettlebells. I've got a bunch of kettlebells that I love, and that can be really addictive, and that can be really more and more intense. And then you go, I'll get one little kettlebell, and then you get a big kettlebell, and then you've got a whole family of kettlebells that gets crazy.
I mean, you could think like this. I'm only going to do kettlebell swings. That's all I'm going to do. That's great.
It's a great place to start. Tara asked, do you think there's a benefit in walking with weights as a beginner, which is like a farmer's carry, I think?
That's great. I think you should be able to do 75% of your body weight for 2 minutes or something, like a test for stamina.
So just
And
hold and carry.
walking with a weighted vest you could do if it's light enough not to, if you have the posture for it. Great.
There's a question on Instagram about how did she manage to get lean around her midsection? How does she manage the cortisol? Also interested in how she managed the glucose sugar during menopause.
Yes, I think the cortisol thing is not to do high intensity running in excess and eat less carbs if you can't tolerate it. It's difficult, but a little bit of carbs before bed could help.
Yeah.
Sometimes to lower the adrenaline and
Yep.
blood sugar stabilization over the night, maybe. And then I think, just more muscle will regulate blood sugar. You know about this?
Yeah. I mean, the best muscle is a massive glucose sink. So the reason why our blood sugar is high is because we don't have enough muscle to burn that glucose.
And I mean, sleep quality. If you don't sleep, you have to sleep good. And then also, I mean, blood sugar for when you're getting older, it's lower estrogen is lower. I mean, you're sensitive. You're not sensitive to insulin anymore as you used to be.
Especially if you're under-muscled
Yes.
and over-fat. Are there any programs in the gym that you'd recommend starting out with? I mentioned there's a Strong Lifts 5x5 app that I just found dead simple, that you just go and it tells you how much to lift each time based on what you did last time.
That's a great program.
I didn't need a trainer. It was just, I got addicted to that progressive overload. Is there anything else you'd recommend people try?
I don't know really. I mean, you have to be able to do the movements. Even if you do the 5x5, you have to have a pretty good technique for the lifting, the deadlifts and the squats in particular, I think. But I don't know. Everything in the gym is great. I mean, there's so much programs and apps that you can follow.
Yeah.
But the 5x5 is, if you're doing compound lifts, it's a great program, I think. Simple.
And you said you really like compound lifts rather than just little machine exercises if you can.
Yes, I don't do a lot of machines actually. I do one compound and then accessories.
Mm,
If I do deadlifts, maybe I do deadlifts
mm,
and back exercises that
mm.
day. And same with the bench press. Then I do chest maybe.
And the compound is good just because it uses so many muscle groups all at
Yes.
once rather
Yes.
than one little muscle group with a machine. So yeah, I mean, as we were talking to Kathy about earlier, starting with machines is great, but if you can
Yes.
work up to the compound movements, they just do a lot more in less time.
I mean,
Um,
depends on what you want. If you're doing accessories, I mean, triceps extensions and such like that.
mm,
It's it depends on what you want to do. But if you just want to have time efficiency in the gym, the 5x5 is great.
mm, yeah, which is just five different compound movements that winds up. Chris said, do you suggest losing body fat first or getting strong or both or
Strong first. I think.
and why is that? You want to be strong and lean,
Um,
but
let me put it like this: when I diet and I reach my goals, it's great, but it's so temporary. But when you're
mm,
strong and you have, I mean, raised your weights and you come home from that day where you did a PB, that feeling is so much more rewarding than
mm,
the number on the scale and what you see in the mirror.
yeah,
I mean, the power that you feel when you're strong, it's and what you can do with your body,
yeah,
it's priceless, I think.
yeah,
It's much more, it's a healthier thing to strive for, I think, also
yeah,
to be strong.
yeah. Getting lean is interesting, but if you get too lean, you feel miserable, you feel fatigued.
Yeah.
If you go, I don't want to live like this forever. But being strong and robust and feeling powerful is a whole different thing. And if you can have that and be healthy body fat levels, then that's for the ideal. You don't want to get to, you got to 14% and you said you didn't want to live there forever, and a higher level is more comfortable.
The only thing that's fun at 14% is the pull-ups.
It's easy to do.
The only thing.
Um, Kathy had another question about workouts about do you prefer to do longer workouts on a day or more frequent, doing it more regularly every day?
You need recovery. So I think that it's better to go to the gym and work your ass off and then rest for 2 days
Yep.
to recover than to always be constantly, nagging at the body's reserves, so to
Mm,
speak. But then movement is that's another thing. Walking and then doing heavy lifts and then recover. That's the thing. I mean, my days are different. Some days I have, pain in my hip, or I have some injuries, or my shoulder is, sore. Then you have to just change that day. The plan that you had that day has to change,
yeah.
depending on. It's more likely nowadays that I have some kind of pain in my body when I go to work out
Yeah.
than it
And you
was
need to
before.
listen to your body and let it recover so you can push again. And if you develop cumulative fatigue that eventually your body just goes, yeah, I
Yeah.
can't keep pushing, and then the cortisol kicks in and then the fat loss slows. And yeah, so you definitely need to find that balance. And maybe I'm just going to go for a light walk today rather than go to the gym, although I'd love to go to the gym, but it's not my day.
But it's that's the way I thought. I mean, a year ago, I think to always go, even if I didn't think that I should.
Mm,
But now it's more like a luxury training for me. I feel like I don't have. I can do what's fun now.
mm.
I don't have that time cap on me that I had in the beginning.
Anybody live want to ask a question? We've got a ton of people here. It'd be great to get you guys to chime in. We've worked through all the questions in the chat. Kathy looks like she's busting to ask a question.
Does you have a question? I think I have something on protein that I
Yeah.
think might be a reason why it's so much focus on don't eat carbs, don't eat fat, that you forget about the protein, so to speak.
Mm.
It's I mean, when you eat out, you buy Caesar salad. There's almost it's no chicken in there. And then you come home and you're gonna make a salad. What do? I mean, you have thin slices of expensive, maybe protein. So that's kind of what we see, what we get served when we're in restaurants is
Mm.
what we make at home. Then
Mm.
we forget about the protein.
Yeah.
It should be number one
And
on
if
the
you get the
plate.
protein, then you don't crave the carbs and fats in the same way
Exactly.
because you've crowded out everything else with the protein, and then you can smash it in the
Mhm.
gym and recover. Yeah, and that's really wise advice. Kathy's got a hand up. You know how to turn on the mic, Kath. What's going down?
All right. So yeah, can you answer the question on the working out? Because it's harder for me to go a bunch of days. So I'm thinking, go to the gym and work out like every other day or so. Is it okay to do? And my cardio is walking. So on the recovery day, would that be okay to do that versus not doing anything?
Walking, yes.
Okay. On the
Walking is
recovery day.
always okay, I think.
All right. Thank you. Awesome.
It
Love
says
it.
the woman who does 15,000 steps a day on average, which is great. Yeah, and just Kathy, just keep on leveling it up. Like go regularly and just get addicted to the I'm getting a little bit
Yes.
heavier each time.
I'm addicted just watching. I guess, Maddie.
She's a real inspiration, isn't she? She's awesome, awesome, awesome. Anybody else got any live questions they want to jump in with?
I have one if I could quickly.
Bob.
Could you talk a little bit about how you put your amino acid stack together? What you were looking for? I got that summary I posted, but I just wondered how you got there.
That's not amino acids, I think. It's more like for endurance.
Hmm.
Amino acids is it's all the protein that I eat and the shakes. The the
Your
good thing the good thing about the shakes, the protein shakes, is that it's complete protein amino acids. How many there are? 20 or something?
Are you talking about the pre-workout, Bob, with the
Yep.
citrulline? She's got a. You had a
Yeah.
comment about I also drink
Yeah.
6 grams of beta alanine, 10 grams of citrulline malate, 2 grams of salt in 500 milliliter water an hour before, and take creatine daily. Yeah.
That's for endurance, and I think the beta alanine you have to load for 8 weeks or something. It's a vasodilator, and also I take with that sometimes beetroot powder
Right.
for the nitric acid or something. I don't know what
Mm.
it's called, but
Thank
it's
you.
for the pump,
It helps you get
the
pumped at the
veins,
gym.
the veins. Yes.
Um, Mimi said, "What protein shake do you use? Is whey a whole protein?" I suppose to just jump in there quickly, for people who are trying to lose weight and not doing a lot of activity, then the whole protein sources are more nutritious and more satiating. But when you're trying to, like, if you're getting 100, 150, 200, 250 grams of protein, then the whey protein powder can help boost the protein intake so you can build more muscle
Absolutely. Absolutely, it's like that. But I mean, 100 grams of protein is not difficult to get, I think. But
from whole
sometimes,
food.
yeah, from whole food, yes, it's no
Mm.
problem.
But if you want to load it up to 250 grams as
Yeah,
a
I
65
could. I
kilo
mean,
woman,
yeah, but I mean, when I was on carnivore, I was over 200, I think, as well. And
mm,
then I had, I think, 750 grams of ribeye a day. So it was no problem then either. But, if you eat it with carbs, you get full, of
mm,
course.
mm.
But I think the protein shakes it's sweet as well, so it's a kind of
Bit of a
a
treat.
treat. Well,
Do you have a favorite protein powder that you use?
Yes, it's Swedish, so I don't know if you know it, but it's always an isolate protein.
Right.
Isolate, the less
Whey protein
carbs.
isolate.
My stomach can tolerate it as well.
Yeah, you've got to respect what your stomach can handle.
Yes.
Any other live questions? I don't see any hands up at the moment. Surely you're all busting with how do I get diced like ulcer? Yeah, and Mike said the beautiful thing about protein is that it doesn't get stored as fat easily. It's hard to overeat. If to get protein into body fat, it has to be converted through gluconeogenesis to glucose and then gluconeogenesis to body fat and stored, and that's a really energy intensive process. And the body just goes, yeah, I'm not going to do that. We're just going to use the carbs and fat in our diet to store, which is a lot easier.
And also, if you eat carbs but not in excess, if you can, you mean it does rarely convert to fat as well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
So you have to moderate it just.
yeah, if you're not overeating the carbohydrate, it won't go to fat. It's usually the fat that is stored as fat.
Yes.
De novo lipogenesis, yes.
Well,
Any other words of wisdom? You're all in on the protein. You keep saying I don't think that there's an upper limit to protein. I've tried to find it, and
I think I was at 300 some days.
300 grams of protein.
Then I get some farts going.
Ren's got her hand up. Marty.
Didn't handle it too well. Ren, what have you got?
Both you and Mike touched on this, having a bit of carb before bed. Can you give an example of like what would you have before bed?
I would have some oatmeal with protein powder then, because that for me I find that it doesn't when I do DDF it doesn't raise my blood sugar if I have protein with it.
And you're doing that because, can you remind me?
I think it lowers adrenaline and cortisol, so that you get not get low blood sugar during the night, and that's what wakes you up as well.
Okay.
At 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or something.
And especially if
Always.
you're in weight loss mode.
You mean it's not just the bladder?
No, it's something else.
Especially if you're losing weight, Ren, you can be in an energy deficit and your blood sugars can bottom out. So yeah, it can be good to have a little bit of carbs before bed so your blood sugars don't dip too low through the night.
Okay, I'm a dead weight sleeper, so.
Great.
Kathy, have you got another one?
Yeah, and she may have mentioned this. What is your total carbs per day on the average?
I don't know, it's 130, I think. Net carbs, 40. Sometimes it's more. It could be over 200, 250 some days.
Okay.
If I'm having a heavy lift the other day. But on general, it's 130, 40 or something.
Yeah.
Is it any particular type of carbs or just mixed?
Sweet potato, some rice. Pasta is better for me than rice. Rice spikes my blood sugar most actually.
Potato.
And I don't eat bread. No bread.
Okay, no bread.
Bread bad.
All right.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
she in the perfect day report, she's got 59 grams of fat at 28%, 127 grams of protein at 26%, and protein is way up there. And she doesn't tolerate fiber too well, so we worked to try and limit the fiber so it didn't boost it too much.
So, Marty, did you hear that? Even Asa has a little bit of rice. Did you hear rice in there, buddy?
But you talk about earning your carbs too, don't you? Also.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah, I love rice. It's good if you need to get the carbs in.
Yeah.
But it's very little. You get so little when potatoes are great, I think. Filling when you're on a diet.
As long as you don't drown them in the oil.
Yeah.
Harry's got a question in the chat, and I see
Harry.
a couple hands up, Marty.
Oh yeah, cool. Has your personality changed from Harry at all, getting so much working right in your body? Do those who know you feel it's been a change in your temperament? That's a really interesting question. How do you feel within yourself?
When I started eating more protein, it was in the fall of 2021. I realized I must not have gotten all the amino acids I
Mm.
needed for, the what's the call the signals.
Yeah,
Uh,
your serotonin, dopamine, and tyrosine are all wrapped up in the amino acids.
yeah, I mean, I had years, all my life, not eating enough protein.
Mm.
So that was a game changer. I think my mood was just perfect. I
Mm.
mean, I had been so stressed and hit the wall sometimes late years ago from stress, and I couldn't handle my life much better when I upped my protein.
Yeah,
Much more.
a lot of us are so addicted to dopamine and over dopamine stimulated,
Yeah.
but serotonin, which is fed by tyrosine, which is an amino acid, is the balance to dopamine. So if you get enough amino acids, protein in your diet, your serotonin's going to be high. You're going to be more content. You don't have that food noise, and life is happier and more stable. So yeah, getting
And
the
then you
protein
need
is important.
all the other B6 to convert and
Mm,
iron and stuff. But that's interesting. So many people have thyroid issues, and I mean, if you don't get tyrosine
mm,
enough to make the hormones,
mm,
it's obvious why it's exploding, I think.
mm. Yeah, nobody's talking about micronutrients, but it's the ultimate solution. If you've, that's obviously my massive preference is that the world sees the world through nutrition is about nutrients, micronutrients, and if you look at that, then all the other stuff works itself
Mm.
out. Belinda, question.
Yeah, just a quick one. You before you started all of this and you now, what are some of the things that you find are so much better, so much easier, like just day-to-day quality of life improvements now versus before you started this journey?
So many things, but I think my mood, like I said before, just before, and also the confidence that I've done this almost by myself, but I have had coaches along the years for diets and stuff. But if when you're strong, it's like a superpower that nobody knows about. You can't. I mean, if I take my clothes off, you can see my muscle. But I feel so. I don't mean to say that I'm better than somebody else, but the discipline it takes to build muscle and you get in shape
Mm,
and just continue to do the things on a regular basis and it adds up. And
mm.
just every day, small steps, you know, not to never give up. I think that's the lesson that I have learned, that you can do anything, but it takes time. You just have to keep going.
And once you've done
So
that, you believe in yourself, you respect yourself, you trust
yes,
yourself, and then you
most
can do anything else in life.
yes,
So what's your
absolutely.
current focus going forward? Like where you've reached this goal, it's taken 4 or 5 years. What's next for Orsa?
I think it's luxury training. Well, that's what I call it. Do whatever
Luxury
I want.
training.
Luxury training, fun stuff. No, but I'm looking at technique in the Olympic lifting. The snatches is very difficult, very
Mm,
hard. Gymnastics, and I'm looking at high rocks maybe. But I have problem running actually with my knees, so
mm.
I don't know about that. But well, I've I'm thinking about there's TV shows in Sweden that you can go to be with elite forces, kind of.
Cool.
Yeah, but we don't. I wouldn't make it for. I mean, my body would say no. My knees would give out, and everything. But it would be a fun thing to do. I like challenges. I think to see what I can do to test my strength.
Mike said you should
That's
100% do it. But yeah, so you've got your body to a point where you go, what's the next challenge? I can take on anything now. That's great. If you could talk to yourself 5 years ago or tell another person in your current situation, who wants to lose fat and get strong, is there any, top 1 or 2 tips that you would say start here?
Yeah, it's the same answer. I think start strength training, educate yourself, and try things. I mean, wake up one day and decide to do something and do it for a consistent amount of time, and don't give up. If you don't get the results, try another thing. Try something else until you find what you really like to do that you can continue doing for a period of time to see results. And don't be in a hurry. I mean, I was, but I didn't know how long things would take to be where I am today. It took 4 or 5 years. So it's not a long time if you think the rest of my life that I have to enjoy my body
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Hey, I might just mention we've got our 2020 macros course starting, which Orsa's done, and I showed those pictures from our Perfect Day report, dialing in her macros. We're starting this Saturday, and we can help you dial in your macros and take what you currently eat to maximize satiety and solve the macronutrient problem, and give you a whole bunch of recipes and show you how to nourish your body and crush cravings. So that starts Saturday, the 12th of April, and we've got a special limited time offer. We just set up the 2020 nutrition system. And if you want to join that, if you're not already an all-inclusive member, then you can join for $1 for your first month and then $37 after that. So yeah, a lot of people got the all-inclusive, but that was a bit of a higher price offer, and we've set up that $1 for your first month and $37 after. If you wanted to join, that would be awesome, and we appreciate your support. This has been awesome, Orsa. I love your name. It rhymes with awesome. Is there any other final words of wisdom or anything you wanted to add before we wrap up? This has been really inspirational for everyone.
I think this community is great with the
It
support
is.
and very, very effective ways of reaching your goals. I think it's
Yeah.
well, kudos to you,
Thank
Marty.
you. Thank you. It's such a special community of people. All these people have showed up to listen to you and learn from you. And thank you for your input to inspire everybody and showing what can happen through the courses. But you've obviously done a heck of a lot of work in the gym as well to really build muscle and show it can be done. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining in, and we'll catch you next week, or hopefully in the next macros course on Saturday. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye bye.